Welcome to the Point of View, an exciting program that comes to you from Democracy Radio 104.9 FM Abuja that touches on topical issues dominating, the media space. As it is a tradition here on the program, we have on my immediate right, Anayo, how is it?
Thank you so much, Idris.
You
Good
look,
to be here again.
you look like you've been well fed yesterday with the DJ's birthday.
Well, good.
So,
Yes,
you,
I got something from those I went.
oh,
I was
okay,
busy
okay, you're
at the
busy.
National Assembly,
Mm.
but I got. I don't want to describe what I got. Very sumptuous package. Yes.
Did you issue gay?
No, I couldn't make it as well. I had to work, but I've been hearing the gist that was really nice.
Yeah. Good.
Just about.
About the party, I heard it was a very nice.
I always said
I heard it was a
DJ. I
very
didn't
nice.
even go further to
very
say
nice
DJ
party.
It should be happening every day. I mean, we can really celebrate with
Absolutely.
those packages. Yes.
Well, we are just speaking about the Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILDS, and that's Professor Abubakar Olaruwaju Suleiman. Happy birthday to him. We'll be speaking much more about that at the end of this conversation. But first of all, yesterday you were somewhere, and that's to say that you were at the Senate screening for the new INEC chair, Professor Joaj Ojo Amo. Is it Amupitan or Amupitan?
Amupitan.
Well, I heard the person who said I say Amupitan. I don't know.
Yeah,
Could you know how to pronounce this much more than the
Yeah.
person?
I grew up in Lagos. Yes.
And the person who said it didn't grow in Lagos, so yeah,
No, it's Amupitan.
so he was wrong.
No, he wasn't right.
All right, so tell us what happened yesterday at the Senate.
Well, it was a first. The professor came in a way that we have not seen in a long time. Very modest, in his suit, and talked about himself. The CV was big, and all of us kept listening. Even I was in the gallery. He sounded, so sure of himself. And before he came, the Senate had to, adjourn. I mean, call up their necessary rules to to allow strangers. When people move into the Senate, they are referred to as strangers, and when they leave, the Senate will have to call an order to resort to the sanctity of the Senate. It is assumed that those strangers had come. Even if you were a former senator, I mean, if you were a senator in the 7th, 6th Republic, if you're coming in again, you're regarded as a stranger. So Amukwito had the floor. He came with his family. He came with his well-wishers and some top members of the party. So he gave a good account of himself before the questions started rolling in. It was almost a unanimous decision. There were no dissenting voices, so to speak.
Well, he said that he made an assertion about giving handshakes that losers of the elections would actually give handshakes to winners come 2027 general elections under his leadership. Shuge, what would be your reaction to that?
I think that would be a milestone in Nigerian politics if we actually see that happen. I don't think that's something we've seen. That's a one-off situation. We only saw that once when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, lost the election, and where we learned that he actually called the winner of the election, now late President Buhari, to congratulate him. That's not something we see very often. The cases always end up in the courts, and it's always dragged out. So how Professor Amupitan plans to sort of reorganize the electoral system and particularly work with the people who are running for office now, because now this has nothing to do with people who are voting. This has nothing to do with voters. Now this has everything to do with the persons who are actually running for office. And so how he plans to exactly the candidate, thank you, that's the word I was looking for, the candidate. So how he plans to sort of carry out that orientation or reorientation of the candidates in their approach to the elections, and letting them know this is not a do or die thing. If you lose, it's okay, call the other person, congratulate them. I would really like to see that happen.
I know on this particular issue, I'm kind of concerned because his argument tends to be he's positive from the angle of maybe credibility. There will be a credible election such that people wouldn't be aggrieved. Losers would know that it is free, fair, and credible. But from what you're saying, it looks like we're just sore losers. Even if it's free, fair, and credible.
Well, I mean, if you take a look at all that's happened so far, across yes, there are a lot of the elections that have happened. There are, quite a number of them are quite questionable, but there have been some where you don't have to play it out the way it's played out. It does not have to end up with, name calling and saying this person did that, this person did that. No, you can take it to the court, but still be respectful to whoever it is that won. If you're confident about yourself and you believe that, yes, you could have won, if not for whatever practices you think may have marred the election. So how, speaking of ensuring that the process is entirely transparent, the process is entirely smooth, is very free and very fair. That's on one hand of it. But on the other hand, you also have to look at just the approach that some of these candidates are bringing to the elections. I think that's going to be a major factor in what he plans to achieve. Yes, you can make the elections completely transparent and you can make them, in fact, the best elections we've had in a long time. But by the time we look at everything that's playing out, people are putting money to campaign, people are doing this and doing that, and then you lose. You're not going to be happy, even just normal appointments in the office. If I don't get one, I won't be unhappy, but I won't go insulting the person who got it, So I think it has to do with, I want to call it sportsmanship, but you can't call politics sports, So in a way, exactly. I think it speaks to integrity and all of that. If your opponent wins something and you didn't get it, it's fine. You go to the person and say, well, congratulations. Maybe I'll try again in the next elections, or maybe I won't try again.
Are we going to be seeing prosecution of election offenders going forward?
Yeah, he assured that, like you said, under his watch, that losers will congratulate winners. That was taken. We took note of that as reporters, and I'm sure the senators also took note of that. And he himself also took notes. He said he'll take a look at when he gets to office. Now, you should expect prosecution of election offenders, because he talked about having an electoral offences commission, an idea that has been there, but you should expect that being a professor of law and a senior advocate of Nigeria and the head of INEC, we should see a lot of legal things coming in, legal introductions, legal ideas coming in. So I don't think he will joke with the idea of having people prosecuted, at least to prove that's his calling. He's going to take that serious. I don't think he'll be bamboozled by legal terminologies. He's not the kind of person that will be afraid of courts giving him order, right, left, center. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is a professor of politics, but this is a professor of law. So he's not going to get bullied by court injunctions. I'm sure he's going to try and avoid some of those pits that that eventually made the former INEC be going from court to court. Now it led us to having off-cycle election. Of course, there's a bill or a proposal that seeks to have elections come earlier so that people can finish
185 days earlier.
Yes, so they can clean that's part of cleaning the process.
Well, 185 days, that's like to say we'll be having elections in 2026.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Elections in around November.
Yeah, even though the committee on electoral matters says the matter is not before them, but it's an idea, and which I think a lot of people are buying in. We may eventually see that become part of the Electoral Amendment Act that we passed according to the Senate leader before 2025.
The major outcome of that reform would mean that the moment someone has been sworn into office, wouldn't be litigation.
Yeah, the code becomes clearer.
Yeah, so you have about 3 or 4 months, in fact, to clear all the legal whatever it is, and sort of also it also gives you time to get your parliament, your cabinet, build whatever it is you want to build leading up to the swearing in. I think it's an excellent idea.
Immunity is helping you out if you're a governor.
Yeah.
And I think the other aspects of that act, prisoner voter, allowances and all of that. So let's see how we get there.
The People's Democratic Party is about to have its convention. It was slated for November, but it appears that there are litigations. But beyond that, we had, just during the week, defection by Joe Jiri of Bayelsa State, and also Governor of Enugu State, Peter Mbah, defected from the People's Democratic Party. Are we seeing a possibility of having this convention in any way? Speaking of the Gale of Defections, there's also Labour Party also talking about the possibility of some people trying to stop the convention holding. What's really happening with the opposition parties? Everybody's moving towards the APC. Senate already has a quorum. And now there's four more persons in the House of Representatives to make up a quorum. We're just left to one party already, isn't it?
One senator moved in yesterday with a letter, very flamboyant letter that was read by the Senate president. I think a senator from Bayelsa State. And when the Senate president was reading that letter, the letter was written like a poem. The senator was lamenting, and he used terms like, "Oh, Solomon La, oh, Alex Ekweme." If you watch his state proceeding, the Senate president was taking time to read. He said, "Look, what has happened to the party you instituted. Don't forget, Solomon La was a chairman of the PDP,
Yes.
and Alex Ekweme and others were parts of the PDM that gave birth to PDP. So that letter was. So most reporters yesterday left the National Assembly saying, "Oh, Solomon La, oh, Alex Ekweme."
Yeah,
So
but what
it
does
became a sing song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another senator added to the 74. So likely, I think we have about 75 senators in the APC, which has surpassed the quote. The quorum is 73. So they are coasting home. They are almost home and dry. So they don't need any support. They can move and succeed in
Are
whatever.
these people being coerced, or are they hiding something in the skeletons? They're scared they might lose, and
If you say
have a
if you say
corruption
coercion, who coerced Duro Diri? Duro Diri has completed his
maybe
8
coercion.
years.
He's seeing things ahead. Maybe by the time he leaves the seat or something.
Maybe for the sake of the fun of it, he wants to join the winning party. He has nothing to
Just
lose.
for fun.
And also, most of these governors want to come to the Senate when they are done.
Okay, so that's a retirement plan.
Yeah, most governors are in the Senate, and you won't see governors going to the House of Reps. So Senate is where they come to rest and then make laws. I mean, they're not they still work.
Yeah,
They come to the Senate to make laws.
Yeah.
The Senate president was a governor.
Yeah.
So it's work. Reward for good work is more work.
Now, taking it down to the issue of the Southeast and these defections that we've been seeing from
Yes.
other opposition parties
Yes.
to the All Progressive Congress, we appear to have 5 states in the Southeast. 3 now, we can say, gone to the APC, 1 Labour Party, 1 APGA. What are the lots, if I put it that way, for that's in favor of the People's Democratic Party, because it seems like they don't have a imprint there.
Yeah, very much so. They almost don't. And so when you think about it, the Labour Party, the APC now, if they continue what they're doing, which is very systematically getting a lot of the opposition to come on board, they could very easily have those states. But then it also brings up the question, and this is the thing I think with Nigerian politics, where a lot of things are very high and low at the same time. Remember a few months ago where the only thing everybody could talk about was the ADC, right? Are they still a player? I think that's the question. And, what role could they possibly play in the forthcoming elections?
Clearly, it was
Now,
just a hype.
maybe it was just the hype, right? But obviously right now they don't have any states or anything like that. But I think going forward, it's not looking very good for the PDP at all. In fact, in general, I would say it's not looking good for the opposition at all. The opposition is becoming more and more non-existent, aside from what the former presidential candidate from the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is doing on social media, where he's constantly going to talk. And then we saw just yesterday, Wiki came up to say, look, you're contesting for popularity or on social media. You're not actually running for president of the country, which was quite funny. But I think right now, if I were in the PDP, I would be seriously, rethinking a lot of things, because a lot of people are jumping ship right now, which is not a good look for the PDP. It also brings up the question that, I think Anaya was trying to bring up earlier, like, why are they defecting? Are they being offered something? I think it was you that asked that question, sorry. Are they being given something? Are they being made certain promises if they defect and things like that? So I think that these are things that we should look into.
Protection.
There you have it. We all know very popularly, Senator Oshomole came and said something along the lines of, when you come to this party, all your sins are forgiven. Is that still the case here? Are we seeing a lot of jumping ship happen now, so that when some governors leave office, they're not being come after, they're not being investigated and things like that? So I think these are all questions that you need to ask. But I think as it stands right now, right, I think if nothing changes between now and 2027, going into the elections, it's looking up for the APC right now, I would say. It's not looking too good for
You're
PDP.
from the Southeast. From the picture being painted by Shuge, it looks like we have an abysmal image of what could happen with the People's Democratic Party, even ahead of the convention slated for November. The Southeast was traditionally more like a PDP zone. All of a sudden, we have quite careful about using the word infiltration. But there's an invasion of the Saudis by the All Progressive Congress. Now, with the coming of APC, it is believed traditionally in politics in Nigeria that governors determine what happens. They install or they elect or put their local government chairman. So we would want to believe that the president, having control of three major states in the Southeast, should be able to garner votes from the Southeast. Peter Obi doesn't share the same thoughts. Who's wrong here?
Well, between 2003, 2007, and 2011, we can ask ourselves how many states in Nigeria were not PDP. Almost all the states in Nigeria were PDP. The Southeast is not, there's no particular state in the Southeast now that is PDP. And this convergence of individuals into the APC is not new. It's a big plus for the APC. First, to answer what Peter B said, well, the defection of these governors does not necessarily translate to, followership going with them. So most of the governors are going there by themselves, and they're going there to probably support the candidacy of the APC in 2027. But that is not to say that they can assure the APC that they will deliver their states. I think that's what we'll be trying to say. They can go, you can have a loan right to a place without giving anybody a right.
I'm sure you had local government elections in the Southeast, right?
Yes.
What happens when you have a governor belonging to a particular political party?
Yes, that is what was and what may happen in 2027. They're different. The idea that once a governor seizes the local government, he's going to deliver. He has been working. But that may change in 2027 when people. I've said quite a lot of things are going to happen in 2027. Voter apathy will be on the high side if we don't do work now. Voter apathy will be there. Vote trading will be on the increase because a lot of people have lost trust in the process. Some people are going to just say, well, no need to go out there and vote. So to return to what is happening now seems to be, again, for the APC, which was where the PDP was in 2023 and 2003 and 2007. At that point, people were asking the PDP, what do you do? PDP, like the entire country was all about PDP. And that's when the former vice president, now a member of the ADC, was holding sway. Right? So
tables turn.
The tables turn. And people are watching the APC. All of these gains may also lead to a bigger fall when eventually pushing turns to shoving. Because it does happen in politics. All of these guys who are gathering will one day fall out.
After primaries. I'm waiting to actually see the APC convention too. Same way they're trying to, hold back conventions from the opposition parties.
Because it's already the sharing that will become the problem.
Exactly. After primaries, if some don't clinch tickets after these defections, there will be litigations.
It's like when an animal, maybe bushmeat, escapes from one village and runs into the other village, and then maybe crosses 3 villages and eventually is caught. Mm-hmm. The village number 1 and 2 will want to have a share. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was caught in village number 3. Mm-hmm. So if the size of the sharers will increase, and if it doesn't go around, there will be a problem. Who takes the head? Who takes the hind leg?
Okay. I had a prediction. I'm sure you must have seen the prediction. He said 3 more governors will be leaving in the PDP. Any guess where this could come from?
I have no idea, but we'll keep watching to see. The big guess would probably be Fubara. Because of everything we've seen happen this year, the state of emergency, him coming back. We've also seen him have, I think, 2 meetings or maybe 1 meeting with the president where he had to come all the way to Abuja here to have a sit down with the president at Astor Rock. So we could very much see him, move depending on what happens. So I don't know. It's hard to say. That's one. The other 2, I'll leave it to Anaya to guess.
You can never say who will be moving.
Exactly.
The next PDP convention may hold in Ibadan, bearing any...
Yeah.
And there's no sign that the Ibadan man who is being touted to even come up as a candidate of the PDP in the elections may want to shift base now. Well, there are others. Oshun is still there. Maybe not yet made up his mind. But maybe
Well, he has a good relationship with
before
President
Wike
Tinubu.
said that, I think he said it before Duro DA became, changed, moved. So maybe we'll have to left from Fayoshe's prediction. Good. So, but what I'm saying is that good for them now, but I hope they don't crash like the PDP. And the PDP is taking solace in the fact that one day this whole convergence will implode.
The PDP,
Yeah, we spoke to the
Yes.
deputy spokesman of the
Yes,
PDP. He
yes,
said
of the PDP.
they are saying, well, let them gather, let the storm gather. Once the rain starts, we'll sit back and have a good laugh.
I really want to move away from this topic, but I think that I still have a little bit of concern about this PDP issue. It looks to me as if going forward on the matter in the PDP, what happened in the PDP might not really be a total loss. Some people put the blame on Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the former president. If he had not handed over power, possibly the PDP will still hold its sway. Maybe the problem is when a party loses the center, everything falls in disarray.
Yeah.
So basically, that's the problem we're saying right
Yeah, but I think when the PDP lost in 2019, right?
Yes.
Then it became to attend Israel. The governors were holding so much power. The governors were dictating until
now. Buhari came in 2015 with Buhari, right?
I think it was in 2015 that Jonathan was lost the election. Yes.
Yeah.
So after that, all the governors have always been very powerful. I think the governors overreached. The governors in the PDP overreached themselves, and they decided to maybe take laws into their hands as far as the party constitution was concerned. The party leadership became subsidiary to the power of the state governors, and that was the beginning of the fall of the PDP.
That was during the time of my, I think, former state governor Ahmed Moazu. People said that there were betrayals within the PDP, and that's what Ayo Fayoshe was trying to say, that there's falsehood being built on the PDP.
Yeah, and the party is not likely to recover from this because most of their members are now in the ADC. The other ones who had stayed back are now in the APC. So what is left of the PDP?
Okay, you said something a bit earlier about Peter Obi. I think there's been some couple of rants on social media between Peter Obi and the FCT minister about the condition of a school, LEA Primary School in Kuje. He said that it is a national disgrace. Peter Obi described the school condition as a national disgrace. But the special senior advisor to the FCT minister on public communications and social media, Leria Olayinka, was saying, he was trying to suggest the whole social media thing, influence of Peter Obi, that he doesn't really have anything tangible in his state to compare with the FCT minister. Is Peter Obi simply a social media trend? Does he really have an electoral value? I should get.
Peter Obi is the opposition right now. I think that's the best way to describe him. He is the opposition right now. And if you look at what the response that, the special advisor to the minister of the FCT gave, or what even the minister himself said, they didn't actually respond to what was called out by Peter Obi. They gave a retort. And the retort was, why are you talking about me? Look at what you did in your own state. Which I think the record books can show that Peter Obi was a fantastic governor for 8 years, right? But the issue that he called out here was the issue of education in the FCT. And just based off of this year alone, education in the FCT has evidently been on the back burner. Evidently, exactly. There's no conversation about that. Let's never go into the state of the actual buildings and structures. Let's just go into welfare of teachers. It's abysmal, right? So I think that's not something. Look, in as much as you don't like your opposition, you have to be able to know when you're being called out for something and say, okay, yeah, we will look into that. Thank you very much. I don't agree with you. I don't even necessarily like you. But I hear what you're saying, and I'll work on it, and I'll build up. But the fact that we're not even seeing that, I think that it brings it back to the conversation what we were saying earlier about sportsmanship. Right? I think we're just all sore losers, and everybody just wants to kind of be on top, and it's very unfortunate.
He said 73 schools are being rehabilitated across the 6 area councils.
Have they? I mean,
Being
if they have are being rehabilitated or have been rehabilitated,
being
are
rehabilitated.
being rehabilitated. Well, I guess when they're done, we'll see. I mean, we'll see pictures, we'll see people talk about it, right? And these are not things that, and that's the problem that we're seeing, right? Look at the work the minister of the FCT is doing with roads in Abuja.
Yeah.
Nobody can dispute that. Roads in the FCT are better than they've been in forever, right? Arguably, right? And he's yeah, I think it's arguably, but the roads are great. He's building a lot more roads, and that's great. Whether it's for his personal interest or what have people are saying, oh, he has an estate somewhere, that's why he's building the road to that place. We don't care. We're driving on the road, we're all benefiting from it. That's great. You can't argue with results like that. It's the same way in education. There's a way you can work on a particular sector that's not going to be arguable. We can all see evidently you worked on this sector, but by the time there was a strike and you left students at home for months at a stretch, right? Without sitting down and speaking to them and figuring out what the issue was. I think it just shows that that's not a priority to you. And I think Peter Obi is very right for calling that out and saying, yes, the state of education in the FCC today is not great, and that's something that he should focus on.
Anayo, your thoughts on this?
Yes, Peter Obi was a former governor of Anambra State. Houston Wike is the governor of FCT. What people do not should know is that the FCT governor is the governor of the FCT. So this one former governor and the current governor have talking to themselves. Well, much as I agree that Peter Obi can talk about FCT schools, Wike may see it as cherry picking. Why should it be at the FCT schools? You're targeting me. And, we don't know. We have not had a media chat for the month. I think the minister is slowing down on media appearances. So maybe he could see.
Some said we should give props to Shawari on that.
Well, maybe he could see the talk coming from Obi as a way of gaslighting him. So maybe that's why you can see such reactions. So ordinarily, yes, I agree. FCT is in the Republic, but Wike could see it as, why is he targeting me? I'm a governor. He was a governor. So.
Okay, to wrap up the conversation today. Yesterday was the birthday of the Director General of National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, NILDS, and Professor Abubakar Olaroju Suleiman turned 60. We had very notable politicians, policymakers, members of the academia who were there present at Transcorp Hilton Hotel here in Abuja. There were key highlights to that moment, but let me speak from personal experiences. Let me start with you, Anayo. How would you describe him?
Yes, I did that on radio yesterday. First, he's a good dresser. I'm a thespian. I studied acting, so I know a good dresser when I see one. He's intellectually super. Having held the position of a national planning minister, you don't make anybody a national planning minister from anywhere. You have to have something upstairs. So he can see from the way news is today that this is a man who has an eye for details. He's meticulous. He doesn't miss anything. If you think he's unaware of what you're doing, the next question may come to you for you to know that he knows what you're doing. So at 60, he's still young and can serve Nigeria in so many ways. So I expect to see him at possibly a higher level. And then, so that we'll be taking notes from him.
Okay. Shige, you see a sanction for the DG? Higher promotion?
I mean, well, at the birthday, he announced that he was going to be that he would like to run for the governor of Kwara State. That was something he said there. Obviously, the primaries have not yet held, and there's still a lot of steps to go. But I do, wish him the best, because looking at what he has done with the Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, where he has been, on top of things for the past few years, he's been exceptional at it. He's been able to, sort of light the path and show a lot of people the way, come up with some very innovative, decisions. So looking forward to seeing, how things go with his run for governor if he gets it, and what he plans to do with the state.
He highlighted the fact that he was brought in by the former president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, came as a loyalist of Bukola Saraki. Then all of a sudden we had former president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan. Ahmed Lawan had his skepticisms. They were pressuring him that he should not renew the tenure of the DG. He weathered that storm. Went further, sitting president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, came and sit. Also, he faced the same thing. Yesterday, he made those presentations at the birthday. One would wonder, because this were reflected also in the book, written 2 books actually authored by him were being launched yesterday. How would you describe his political career, especially in the public service, and how he has been able to emphasize merit? Because what he kept saying was that he couldn't be supplanted by anybody else or replaced because of his performance. I would like to get your comments on that, Shuge.
I mean, it's very evident. Like I said, he's been able to come up with some very innovative, decision making, and it shows in the work that he does. Similar to what we're saying about, Wiki and what he's doing the FCT with roads, right? There's a point you get where you put in a lot of work, and then it's evident, or nobody can say, well, he didn't do that, because it's clear. You can look at it and see, oh, this and this and these are the things he did in that office. So I think that's probably, his strong point, the fact that he actually works. And when you work, even if somebody doesn't necessarily like you, and I think that's the best part about marriage, right? Even if someone doesn't necessarily like you, when they look at the work you've done, they have to say, okay, I may not like him, but he's efficient. And so for his efficiency, let's leave him there. Let's make him do it. And things like that with time, well, he's actually not a bad person. I actually kind of like him. He's efficient. He's nice. Maybe I just had the wrong perception, about him and things like that. So yeah, I think he's very efficient, and I think that just speaks volumes about, all the things he's been through.
Yeah, he's a technocrat politician. And it's not easy to combine both.
Exactly, that's what.
Yeah, so how he weathers the storm of being a technocrat and then playing good politics is something we need to study.
We need to study, and that's why those 2 books are out there.
Yeah, we need to study. Because it's not easy to handle the 2 at the same time.
It's not.
Yeah.
All right, the books are available at NILDS. Just in case you think.
And I wish you could get us some copies.
Well, I'd like to let you know that the president of Senate actually paid 10 million cash for that book. You might just be interested to pay something double of that.
Interesting.
Nigerians. Corporate individuals were there. I know there's a Shagaya who was there. I just did a quick Google search. I was saying it on radio. She happens to be one of the top richest African women. She was there.
Yeah.
And he kept giving respect to that. She doesn't talk too much money. Everybody just respects her. She steps in the scene, and she's modest and calm. He clearly has a lot of friends, and only if Ife was there. He gave jokes about everybody, how ancestors used to use jazz to fly and all that. It was a nice gathering yesterday. You guys missed out.
Well,
But you want to share that.
We'll be there for the next one.
As I said, if we can
Inquiry States.
do it again. We say 61.
At 61, we'll be there for the next one.
Government House Inquiry State.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, possibly. All right. On this note, any call to you? You have any
No,
special- you guys are like statesmen.
One not states.
I didn't say elder statesmen. I just said it's statesmen.
Well, statesman.
Strong
we're here to
words.
get there.
But you said that the president of the Senate doesn't pronounce the name.
It's Amupitan. I mean, it's a normal. What I'm saying, I'm right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I lived in Lagos.
Yeah.
Even sugar, you find it difficult to pronounce Amupitan.
Yeah.
The P is Kwe in Yoruba.
Interesting.
All right.
Yeah,
It's
so
interesting. Noted.
Maybe
Opalano.
Lagosians will like find it
yeah,
easier to
it's
pronounce.
Amupitan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might just be a pronunciation thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I learned it.
Yeah, no, that's the so that there's I'm actually being serious now. With names, there's a way to pronounce names.
Yeah.
And then someone else might have a hard time pronouncing it.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
it's not like
I
that,
agree.
that they're trying to disregard the name.
No.
But it's like you have a hard time pronouncing it, maybe because of the inflections.
Like
yeah.
a question.
Yeah, I have a hard time saying kui.
Yeah. Please
Yeah.
do.
So
because
involuntary, I have to be very conscious to pronounce it that
especially
way.
when you're thinking of contesting, maybe in the next couple of years. Because
All right.
Amukwito
You
will be
already
there
have
for
those
another
plans.
10 years. very
Of
likely.
course. Yeah, most likely.
So better start getting used to pronouncing Amukwito.
Definitely.
All right, that's the dealing with radio culture action. So we just wrap it up on a high note this way. We're all happy, excited. Once again, happy birthday, DG National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. That's the voice of Shuge there, the face of Shuge. And Anayo, an exciting
you.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
So hopefully we wouldn't be coming back here for the next episode of the program with 3 more defections on PDP in line with our predictions by Irish. Yeah. Are you going to put your money on it?
Well, anything can happen.
All things are possible in Nigeria. Been a host on the program. Idris, thank you so much for listening. Follow our social media handles for a fresh edition of the program on all topical issues here, politics and all the social issues in the country. You have a lovely day.